Hi, this is Steve Hicks, and I'd like to spend a few minutes giving you a brief bio on myself and how I got into real estate. I was born in Salem, Oregon, and I'm not going to tell you the year, but you can probably guess from the silver hair that it wasn't too recently. uh, and I had a wonderful public high school education. Really, I feel very fortunate. I especially remember my English comp teacher who taught me how to diagram sentences and make my thoughts as clear as possible. So I'm hoping I'm doing that now verbally with you. Then I attended the University of Puget Sound in Tacoma, Washington, where I got a Bachelor of Arts degree in psychology and sociology. Also picked up a secondary teaching certificate with the state of Washington and taught high school for a couple of years as a substitute teacher in Tacoma. And back in those days, you could pretty much work 5 days a week if you wanted to as a substitute teacher. So I got a lot of experience with the administration in schools and also with kids. I really liked teaching kids. Didn't care so much about the regulations and the administration of the high schools. And that ultimately wore me out, and I got out of that. It just seemed like the administrators were more interested in head count and making sure the students were actually sitting in a seat rather than what they were learning. Anyway, that's my opinion. So I also had started a painting contract business because I wanted to be self-employed, called Perfect Painting, because I do love to paint. I'm glad most people don't, because that gives me a market to paint. I still like it to this day, but I don't have the painting business. But I did have that, put myself through high school summers and also through college with the proceeds of that, which was great. Then I went on to the University of Washington and got a master's in social work from them. And so you can see that I've always been interested in people with the psychology degree and the social work degree and houses. So the two of those meld beautifully with a real estate career as an agent. And so in 1983, March 2nd to be exact, with my newly inked real estate license, I started with Camas Realty in the Roosevelt District on 65th and Roosevelt. And they had excellent training for new agents, which the Camas is no longer around, but I'm certainly fortunate that I took that training. It was truly wonderful. And then I figured, well, I might as well go against Windermere, or I might as well join Windermere because I kept going against it in competing for listings. So in January of 1984, I started at Windermere Wall Street down on 2nd and Wall in Belltown, and I'm still there. I have an office and home now, so I don't go too much into the office, but that is where my real estate license physically hangs, is at the Wall Street office in Windermere. So since January of 1984, I've been a full-time agent specializing in selling houses on Queen Anne Hill, and probably 80 to 85% of my business is working with listing properties and representing sellers. So I've got there probably isn't a problem that's come up in real estate sales in terms of a defect with the house or in terms of an escrow problem that I haven't had to deal with successfully. You can imagine how much experience and how much learning I've gotten in 35 years doing this job. I really love this business because it's always changing. The interest rates are changing, the mortgage rules are changing, people move in and out of houses, and when they're there they do different renovations, and so the houses are changing. I think I've sold maybe 4 or 5 of these houses 4 or 5 times each over these 35 years. And each time I do it, I'm dealing with different owners, and the house is presenting differently because that owner has done some things since I last sold it. So it's a fascinating business. I have a true passion for it. I really do love it. And so that's a little bit about me. Thanks for listening. Take care.